I'm Bob Dodge with Artemis Gallery. On February 13th, we've got our first exceptional auction of the year. Did a video last week showing off some of my favorites. As fate would have it, more just showed up. Some of these are just over the top. Let me show you some of these really amazing things. Let me show you this guy. Roman, 1st century marble. So this is a herm. So a household god, you would have had a little niche in your house or your villa. Stunning marble, beautiful marble, wonderful details. This is Heracles. We call him Hercules. Same guy, strong dude, lots of muscles, wearing the lion cape for the lion that he killed. Just a wonderful size, great detail, beautiful color. I want to take this home. When you think of Colima, you certainly don't think of this. You think of Colima dogs or Colima standing warriors with the beautiful red slipped finish. But this is Colima, West Mexico, 200 BCE, 200 CE. And it's an incensario. So they would have put copal or some other substance in here and burn it as an offering to the gods. And what makes this so cool? You just never see this form with the human and the incensario together, or very rarely. Shaman carrying a rattle, shaman horn. His hand on the incensario part where we've got twin heads. One hand to his mouth, ingesting something hallucinogenic. You've got the other hand to his knee. Great detail, rare piece. One of my favorites. This is a piece that you're not likely to find outside of a museum. So this is from Costa Rica. This dates to about 500 AD, 500 BCE. This represents twin crocodiles, standing human, and it's made out of the most beautiful blue-green jadeite. So this is a stone that's only mined in very, very small regions of Costa Rica, and it was traded throughout Mesoamerica, and in some areas, this jadeite was much more important than gold. So this was worn as a pendant, and it would have been an adornment for somebody very high up in the clan. You just don't find this color, this degree of carving anywhere. Even the central ridge where it was cut off of a larger piece of jade. Just a beautiful, remarkable piece. Man, I'd love to have this. What would an exceptional auction be without gold? And look at this piece of gold. This is Viking. I mean, this is the warriors with the horned helmets, which actually didn't exist, but Viking period, 1,000 years old, maybe a little bit older. Just some of the most incredible gold workmanship that you're ever going to find. The scalloped rope and the little individual beads that were applied, the garnets, the bale. I even like the deposits on the back. It just shows that it's been in the earth for such a long time. High carat gold, 23 karat, almost pure gold. So this was as pure as they could smelt. Stunning, stunning. Don't know how you wouldn't love this. Love this piece. Egyptian, late period, so 26 to about the 30th, 31st dynasty. So 660 BCE down into the 2 to 300 BC period. So this was about the time that the Egyptian dynasty was falling apart. So the Greeks had conquered Egypt. Alexander the Great had come through and formed Alexandria and conquered the entire Valley of the Kings. This is a section of a sarcophagus inner wrapping. So this is a chest pectoral. Sons of Horus on this side with beautiful rosettes. And what sets this one apart, this creature here, I don't think I've ever seen one on the cartonnage like this. So this creature is called a cryosphinx, and we've all heard of the Sphinx, of course, which is part man, part lion. But this represents the head of a ram, the body of a bird. The tail kind of morphs into a table for the mummy to be laid upon, legs of human, the feathers from the royal crown, beautiful color. So this is gesso, which is painted plaster over linen, and the linen would have been part of the mummy covering. And this is the inner covering of the mummy, which would have then been laid inside of a wooden sarcophagus, or maybe if it was a really wealthy individual going into a stone sarcophagus. But just everything about this is beautiful and rare and stunning, and just a fabulous piece. When you think of oil lamps, you think of kind of the standard Roman oil lamps. This, I don't think I've seen a finer Roman oil lamp come through our facility. Yes, we've had beautiful bronze lamps that are just to die for, but in terms of pottery, this is, I'm going to say by far, the finest pottery oil lamp we've ever had. 1st century AD, BCE, and some of the things that set this one apart, the condition. I mean, look at that surface. I mean, almost no flaws, maybe just a tiny bit of flaking. These are gladiators. So you've got gladiators in combat, this one with his sword ready to strike the one who's on his knee, the vanquished. And depending on the position of the emperor's thumb, if it's up, supposedly the gentleman would live. If it's down, he's permitted to plunge his knife into his neck and kill him. Still don't know if that's really true. There's no written evidence to suggest that. It's great in the movies, though. Love it when that happens. But this oil lamp was probably sold at a vendor outside the Colosseum. So this is Roman. Would have actually been kind of a tourist souvenir of the games going on in the Colosseum. And you just don't find them this well, or this well preserved. Beautiful condition, great crisp scene. So they used molds, and you can see that this would have been one of the early stampings out of that mold, because everything is so crisp and so perfect. Just the finest. This piece, to me, proves that something doesn't have to be perfect to be exceptional. This is Roman, 1st century, made out of the most beautiful, deep cobalt glass. So these are individual grapes. So this is a grape flask. So it could have held a very strong grape liquor. It could have held very precious unguents. The things I like about it, it's not perfect. It shows flaws. The side is caved in. The rim is melted or missing. The spout has fallen in. So one of two things happened. It either came out of the mold and it was still too warm and this happened, or there's an outside chance. The timing of this is just about right. This could have happened in 79 AD. These could be the results of this being part of the volcanic eruption of Vesuvius. It could have come from Herculaneum or Pompeii. The history on this could be so important, and unfortunately we've lost it, but we haven't lost the beauty. We haven't lost the color and the iridescence. Just such a wonderful, magnificent piece. If perfect, you'd find this in a museum. In this condition, I'd love to have it in my house. We talked about gold a little bit earlier. Look at this gold. This is pre-Columbian. This came from Peru, northern Peru, Lambayeque culture, Sican. 800 to 1000 AD CE. Something like this would have only been worn by a lord or a king, or certainly somebody that belonged in the royal family. This was stamped from a long, large sheet of hand-hammered gold and punched from the inside with all of these decorations. So the stippling. So you've got little individual lords, each holding a scepter of power. And then it was soldered together using techniques that we're still not even sure how they work. The stand, I made it, kind of proud of it. Great, stunning, important example. Whoever gets this, I'm jealous. In my last video for this exceptional sale, we had a Colima puppy. Now we've got a Sumerian kitty. What a fine kitty. This blows my mind. So 4,000 years old, 2000 BCE. Each of these individual recesses were carved and would have once been inlaid with shell. So this is made out of a black steatite, an offering either into a temple or possibly someone's tomb, but a very important piece. A piece like this, kind of reminiscent of the Gornell lioness that went at $56 million at auction. Naturally, we don't expect it to make quite that much, maybe 50 million. Just kidding. But everything about this, the detail, the wear, the expression, the ears back as if he's alert and looking around. Just a really fine kitty. Here's a piece from a culture a lot of us wouldn't have recognized, including myself when I first started collecting. So this comes from a culture called Mase Pian or Mase Pian, and the form itself is called a trozella. And when you think of Mase Pian pottery, you think of this form. So Mase Pian is the heel of the Italian boot, and this would have been made in the 4th century BCE, BC. Wonderful, elegant form with the twin rosettes here and here. Strong Greek influence. The Greeks were in southern Italy at this time with their center of Tarentum. But this is just quintessential Mase Pian. This is a form the Greeks didn't use often, but the Mase Pians kind of put a copyright on this. Great original pigment, the waves, the rosettes, the added black rim, great foot. Just a perfect example of what a Mase Pian trozella should look like. White skulls make some people like me smile. This is Maya. This is 5th to 9th century AD CE. This is called a Hotcha. So a Hotcha was part of the outfit that was worn during the ball game. It's part of the hip protection. Most of these weren't actually used in the ball game. They were used for votives placed in the ball game arenas, used by the home team or, to show your colors. This is a piece that just makes me smile. I don't know why I like skulls so much. They should make you sad and feel, depressed, because we all know that this is our future. But this guy, he's happy. He's a happy skull. He's got a big smile. He's got the original red pigment, carved out of limestone. One piece drilled for suspension. Great root-marked surface, great deposits. Just everything about this piece makes me smile. This is a piece that whoever buys it will make smile as well, and I'm very envious of them. I hope you enjoy these as much as I do. Remember, February 13th, our auction. Bid online or give us a call, 720-890-7700. Thanks so much.